just wanted to get everybody's input here on a situation that I've had come up. To be honest, I think this is the first time I've gotten asked this, told this, after a contract has been signed. So I've gotten a bunch of estimates in the past telling me too expensive, that's ridiculous, I can get a guy to do it for X amount cheaper, blah 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 blah, and that means I'm pricing correctly. However, first of all, we had a very mild winter, not many snow events, and I did pricing a little different this winter, but I explained it in contract form. I explained it in layman's terms to the customer. We talked about it. It's written, it's documented a million times over. But instead of doing, well, I still have some seasonals, some seasonal prepays. But instead of doing seasonal prepay, or I used to do like per push. So, you know, let's just say a small driveway would be $50. And then, you know, that might cover you to from 2 to 5 inches. And then once you get to like that 6-inch mark, I might come again, but maybe I might not. And like, it was all like up in the air, and the customers don't know when you're like, you know, or, you know, why is he plowing with the storm when he could just wait and to the end? And, you know, everybody has their idea of doing things, and it just became, you know, the customers are, for the most part, are very good. But what I had decided to do was take the guessing game out of it for the customer. Also, allow me to not feel like I'm rushing from one to the other, so I can get in a second round of plowing to make a few more bucks. And, you know, you don't want to be racing around while it's, you know, snow and ice, and then it's like, you know, you might plow it halfway through because you think you're gonna get, you know, 4 more inches, and then then you hit a lull and it kind of stops and another inch fell, but it's like, do I charge for the other inch? The contract said, you know, so you go back and forth in your head, and it's just, it's too much of a guessing game. And it's honestly a guessing game on both parties, yourself just as well as the customer, that I've found over the few years that I've been plowing. So this year I was like, you know what, let me switch this up. I don't know how many people are doing this, but I created a system that honestly worked for me and it still is going to work for me. This guy's not going to change my mind. He's an older, Jesus, the sun is not real. He's an older gentleman. I actually heard he's in his mid 90s, according to the next door neighbor who I also plow. And because of that, I normally don't shovel, or I shovel very few, and I make sure to charge accordingly, which is $2 a minute with a 5-minute minimum, just to get out of the truck and shovel, you know, maybe a small walkway or whatever. But anyway, long story short, he calls me, I do his driveway. Now we got a storm that was like, I don't know, it was hard. It was a very wet, heavy, like 33-degree snowfall. Some places got hammered, and they got, you know, well over a foot. You know, there's this, I didn't have any, but this high, I had probably some in the 14-inch range. But, you know, there were reports, documented reports from the National Weather Service of, you know, people getting 17, 18 inches of snow in the same town as, you know, somebody who getting 6. So I kind of, not everybody, the 17 is kind of, you know, that was like a little small band, but, you know, whatever. So I took, the National Weather Service took a few measurements in the town, in the couple zip codes I do, And I forget what the average is, but I have it documented. Everything's documented for these people. But he was charged accordingly, and he has the little breakdown of, if it snows 2 to 4, it's this much. If it snows 4 to 6, it's this much. If it snows, so on and so forth. And he has all of that, so he should know. And I told everybody in the beginning, I was like, listen, this is how I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to try it out, but I'm not going to argue snowfall totals with everybody. I'm taking the data from National Weather Service. Whatever they say in their statement is just what I'm going to bill it for, because I'm not getting out of the truck at every house where you have differences in elevation, and you could have blowing and drifting snow, and customers don't realize that they look out their window and there's not much snow on my driveway on the main part, but then you get back by where their garages are and it's all blown up against the house and there's 3 feet. So I basically told them, this is how we're going to do it, but we're not going to argue about the amounts. And they all agreed, yeah, that's fine, that's fair, totally understand. Anyway, basically, so I get this guy's driveway is the sorry, I'm getting text messages. His driveway's really and I break the driveways up into small, medium, large based on how I should do it by square foot, but basically how long the driveway is. If it's double, triple wide, I'll just price it accordingly. But anyhow, sorry. So his driveway, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. He's an older gentleman. I shovel in front of his garage. All that, and I don't charge him. He's the only one I don't charge, just because he's he's super old. He's like 95, and I have a road. I have a dead end road where I knock out a bunch of them, and it's fine. I feel like I'm trying to do the right thing here. And he calls me. Anyway, the storm goes, and I think I priced it as an 8 to 10 inch storm, which, the data actually was higher than that. But I knew that there was melting, because, I didn't want to get too much pushback by charging above 10. So I just, whatever, 8 to 10. In all honesty, we haven't had much of winter anyway, so I should have priced it higher. But in the same breath, these people haven't been used to getting charged. So they go from last year seeing this one amount to, whoa, this year it's then that's kind of a little bit of shock to them. So whatever, I try and make everybody happy. Sorry for the rant here, but he calls me up. His bill was for $124 or whatever, which it's really $115 plus tax. His rate starts at $55 and goes up. So if it was like a 2-inch storm, it would have $55, and it goes up in increments. And we had, it was heavy, wet, and significantly more than 2 inches. So, his was $115, and he calls me. He's like, I just wanted to question you on the last snowfall. I'm looking at the bill for $115, and I'm just trying to understand, because I had somebody tell me, they live a street down that their snowplow bill was $45. $45. And I'm just like, so I give them the whole spiel about how, listen, some people are insured, some people are not. If you have insured, you do business the right way, it costs a lot more money than Joe Schmo who throws a plow on their truck and tries to make a few extra bucks. And he gives me, he tells me, I completely understand. He tells me his son's a landscaper, which he could be, I don't know. But, I'm like, well, where's your son live? Why isn't he plowing it? Why isn't he taking care of your yard? Why does your yard look like this? But I didn't go that route. And he's like, yeah, no, he explained it to me, and, that insurance rates have gone through the roof, and, I know you got to fill the truck up, and, that costs a few extra bucks, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just kind of, nodding with him. He's just like, I just don't understand how there's a difference from 115 to 45. He's like, if you charge like 85 and 45, which is still a very big difference, I could understand. But listen, he's got every right, because you don't know what you don't know. That's Brian Fullerton's favorite thing to say. But at the end of the day, unfortunately for him, one of his friends is basically making out like a bandit while he's getting charged accordingly, and it is what it is. So I guess he's gonna reconsider next year. That's fine. But anyway, that was the first time I had somebody who's had contracts, had things signed, has all the information in front of them, and they still kind of question. I was a little thrown off that he questioned the amounts. I mean, I know there was melting the next day or two, which, and honestly, the snow was gone within less than a week, which when you have a foot and it's gone less than a week, that just shows you how warm it is. But it is what it is. I mean, you get billed for what you do, and especially when it's heavy and wet, that's the stuff that really kills plows. Any plow guy will tell you they'd rather have 2 feet of powder than a foot of that heavy wet stuff. But anyway, that's all. Let me know if you have similar stories. Have a good one. Bye, guys.